Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Are you guys ready for today's video? Because I am so ready. Today we're diving into some of the most mysterious disappearances that have left the world baffled. We're talking people just vanishing into thin air. No explanation. It's like the universe just decided to hit the delete button on these people. Get ready for some chills because some of these stories are seriously creepy. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more intriguing content. Okay, you guys, we have to start with Amelia Earhart. She was such a badass flying around the world in that tiny plane of hers. Like, can you imagine? No GPS, no cell phone, just a map and a dream. But then, bam, she just disappears over the Pacific Ocean in 1937, gone without a trace. There was that radio transmission where she said she was low on fuel and couldn't find Howland Island. Some say she landed on a remote island and died there. They found this skeleton there, and it totally could have been Amelia. Plus, they found some creepy stuff like a woman's shoe and some beauty products. We may never know what really happened to Amelia Earhart, but it's so crazy to think about. Okay, so picture this. 1872, you're sailing across the Atlantic Ocean, and you stumble upon a ship just drifting along, sails all out, looking totally normal. You board the ship, and it's completely empty. Food still on the table, clothes in the drawers, but not a single soul on board. Spooky, right? That's exactly what happened with the Mary Celeste. It was like everyone on board just vanished into thin air. And the creepiest part, everything was in pretty good shape. Some people think it was pirates, but that doesn't really make sense. The mystery of the Mary Celeste has never been solved, and it continues to fascinate and terrify people to this day. I mean, a ghost ship just drifting at sea? That's the stuff of nightmares. Okay guys, let's talk about Roanoke, the lost colony. This one is seriously creepy and takes place back in the 1500s. So, over 100 English settlers just disappear from their colony on Roanoke Island, North Carolina. Poof! Gone! They left behind all their stuff, their houses, everything. The only clue they left behind was the word Croatoan carved into a tree. Was it a message? A warning? A cry for help? We may never know. Some people think they were killed by Native Americans, but there's no evidence to support that. Others think they might have joined a nearby Native American tribe, which would explain the whole Croatoan thing. But then where did they go? And of course, there are always the theories about aliens and supernatural stuff. Whatever happened to the Roanoke colonists, their disappearance remains one of the biggest unsolved mysteries in American history. Can you imagine an entire colony just disappearing without a trace? It's like something out of the Twilight Zone. Chapter 4. The Sodder Children. A Christmas Eve Nightmare. It's Christmas Eve 1945. The Sodder family, with their 10 children, are sleeping soundly in their home in Fayetteville, West Virginia. Suddenly a fire breaks out, engulfing the house in flames. George and Jenny Sodder manage to escape with 4 of their children, but the other 5 are never seen again. The fire department was super slow to respond, and by the time they got there, the house was completely destroyed. But here's the really weird part. They never found any remains of the missing children. Not a single bone. The Sodders were convinced that their children were still alive. They even had the site of the fire dug up years later, but still, nothing. The disappearance of the Sodder children is a truly tragic and baffling mystery. It just goes to show that even in the safety of our own homes, the unthinkable can happen. Chapter 5. The Flannan Isles Lighthouse, Keepers of the Lost Light. We're talking about the Flannan Isles Lighthouse, a remote lighthouse on a tiny island in Scotland. In 1900, the 3 lighthouse keepers stationed there vanished without a trace. When the relief keeper arrived, he found the lighthouse completely empty. The table was set for dinner, the beds were unmade, and the logbook was open, but there was no sign of the keepers. The last entry in the logbook was December 15th, and it mentioned a terrible storm. But here's the thing. The storm they described hadn't actually hit the island yet. Theories about their disappearance range from the mundane to the totally bizarre. The mystery of the Flannan Isles Lighthouse has never been solved, and it continues to haunt the seas to this day. Just imagine being stuck on a remote island, the wind howling, the waves crashing, and then suddenly, your only companions disappear without a trace. Chapter 6, MH370, the flight that disappeared. Remember Malaysia Airlines Flight 370? In 2014, this Boeing 777 just vanished into thin air with 239 people on board. It took off from Kuala Lumpur, headed for Beijing, and then, poof, gone. No mayday call, no distress signal, nothing. The plane just disappeared from radar, and despite a massive international search effort, they never found the wreckage. There are tons of theories about what happened, but none of them really add up. Some people think it was a terrorist attack, but there was no claim of responsibility. Others think maybe the pilot hijacked the plane, but why would he fly it for hours in the wrong direction? The disappearance of MH370 is one of the biggest aviation mysteries of all time. It's a stark reminder that even with all our technology, there are still things we can't explain. Chapter 7, D.B. Cooper, the Skyjacking Enigma. We're talking about D.B. Cooper, the OG skyjacker. In 1971, this dude hijacked a Boeing 727, extorted $200,000 in ransom money, and then parachuted out of the plane, never to be seen again. Cooper was a total enigma. He was wearing a suit and sunglasses, and he was super calm and collected throughout the whole ordeal. He even ordered himself a bourbon and soda while he was waiting for his ransom money. After he got the money, Cooper told the pilots to fly towards Mexico City. Then, somewhere over the Pacific Northwest, he opened the rear door of the plane and jumped out into the night, wearing only a suit and a parachute, and that was the last anyone ever saw of him. The FBI searched for years but never found any trace of Cooper or the ransom money. Some of the money did turn up years later, but it was so decomposed that it didn't provide any real clues. Did he survive the jump and live out his days as a wealthy recluse? Or did he crash and burn in the wilderness? We may never know. His story continues to fascinate and inspire wannabe criminals to this day. Just kidding. Don't try this at home, kids. Chapter 8. Natalie Holloway, Lost in Paradise. Natalie Holloway, an 18-year-old high school student from Alabama, disappeared in 2005 while on a graduation trip to Aruba with her classmates. She was last seen leaving a nightclub with a group of local guys and then, poof, gone! Her disappearance sparked a massive international search and a media frenzy, but despite numerous leads and suspects, her body was never found. The main suspect in her disappearance was Joran van der Sloot, a Dutch student who was last seen with Natalie. He was arrested and questioned multiple times, but he always maintained his innocence, and there wasn't enough evidence to convict him. The case remains unsolved to this day, and Natalie's family is still searching for answers. Her disappearance is a reminder that even in paradise, danger can lurk around every corner. It's a parent's worst nightmare, and it just breaks my heart. Chapter 9. The Bermuda Triangle. Fact or fiction? Okay, you guys, we've all heard the stories about the Bermuda Triangle, that mysterious area in the North Atlantic Ocean where ships and planes supposedly disappear without a trace. It's like a black hole of the sea, swallowing up everything in its path. Over the years there have been countless stories of ships and planes vanishing in the Bermuda Triangle, often without any explanation. Some people blame it on magnetic anomalies, rogue waves, or even underwater methane eruptions. But others believe that something more sinister is at work. Whether you believe in the supernatural or not, there's no denying that the Bermuda Triangle is a seriously creepy place. It's a reminder that there are still mysteries in this world that we may never be able to explain. Chapter 10. Madeleine McCann, a missing child and a world's hope. Madeleine McCann was just 3 years old when she vanished from her family's vacation apartment in Portugal in 2007. Her parents were having dinner with friends at a nearby restaurant, and Madeleine was sleeping in the apartment with her younger twin siblings. When they went to check on her, she was gone. Her disappearance sparked one of the biggest missing person investigations in history. But despite numerous leads and suspects, Madeleine has never been found. There have been countless theories about what happened to Madeleine, but none of them have been proven. Madeleine's disappearance is a heartbreaking reminder that even in the 21st century, children can vanish without a trace. Her case continues to haunt the world, and her parents haven't given up hope that she will one day be found. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Let me know in the comments if you've heard of any of these stories. And if you haven't, which one freaked you out the most? Comment below which mysterious disappearance you found the most intriguing. Like, if you had to solve one of these cases, which one would you choose? I'm so curious. And as always, stay curious and keep exploring the unknown, but be careful out there, you guys. The world is a strange and mysterious place.